Anyone who thinks that home prices are falling in the Grand Rapids area on a year-over-year basis is not looking at the facts. Welcome to the Grand Rapids, Michigan, Kent County Residential Real Estate Market Update with data through October 2022. My name is Rodney Constable. I'm a realtor with 616 Realty in Grand Rapids, Michigan. Year-over-year, home prices are up 13.4% in the Grand Rapids area, with the average home selling for $350,692. 1 year ago, the average home was selling for $309,376. For years, I've heard people saying things like home prices can't continue to go up. Well, when I hear things like that, I think about the input costs to building a home. And some of the major input costs to building a home are land, labor, materials, and regulatory costs. So if somebody thinks that home prices cannot continue to rise in the future, what they're basically saying is that land is going to get cheaper and more plentiful. Labor is going to get cheaper and more plentiful. Materials are going to get cheaper and more plentiful. And the government's going to make regulatory costs of building a house cheaper and easier. And guys, when we just think about these four input costs, land, labor, materials, and regulatory costs, do we really think that any of these input costs to building a home are going to fall in the future? I doubt it. So if land, labor, materials, and regulatory costs are going to continue to go up, then home prices probably will continue to rise in the future as well. The average home is selling after being on the market for just 18 days. When we compare that to the inventory of unsold homes, we can see that those homes have been on the market for an average of 66 days. What these two data points tell us is that if a home is properly priced, it will sell in a relatively short period of time, right now in under 3 weeks. However, if a home is not properly priced for its location, condition, and amenities, that home will stay on the market for an extended period of time, right now just a little over 2 months. Next, let's take a look at year-to-date new listings versus the same period 1 year ago. And in this category, we are down 4.17%. When we take a look at this data in a numerical format, what we can see is that for the first 10 months of calendar year 2022, we have had 8,579 listings that have come to market in Kent County. That is down 373 listings, or 4.17%, versus where we were for the first 10 months of 2021. And when we compare where we're at now to where we were in 2016, right, because I like to look at longer run data, we can see that we're down 2,175 listings, or 20.23%, versus where we were in 2016. And it's starting at the bottom of the chart here. So let's start at 2016 and look up. And what we can see is that for the first 10 months of 2016, there were 10,754 listings that had come to market for the first 10 months. And then it dropped off by several hundred in 2017, but we remained fairly stable for 2017, 2018, and 2019. But then, of course, because of COVID in 2020, we dropped off 1,000 listings, right, between 2019 and 2020. But then you can see the number of listings that came to market in 2021 was down versus where we were in 2020. And again, in 2022, we're down over where we were last year. So you can see the trend over the last 7 years, starting in 2016 and working our way to current 2022, you can see that the trend has been for fewer and fewer homes to be listed in Kent County year over year. And this is one of many data points, along with rising land, labor, materials, and regulatory costs, that's going to continue to contribute to rising home prices here in the Grand Rapids area. Next, let's take a look at year-to-date closed transactions versus the same period 1 year ago. So we just looked at listings, but now we're going to look at the number of homes that have actually sold. So in this category, we're down even more on a percentage basis than what we were on the listing side. So year-to-date, right, through the first 10 months of the year, we're down 10.24% versus where we were for the first 10 months of 2021. And when we look at this data in a numerical format, we can see that for the first 10 months of 2022, there were 6,990 closed transactions in Kent County. That is down 797 closed transactions, or 10.24% versus where we were last year. And comparing 2022 to where we were in 2016, we can see that we're down 1,545 closed transactions, or 18.10% versus where we were in 2016. Guys, what this means, right, is that there's fewer and fewer transactions being done, right, which is going to negatively impact the real estate industry here in Kent County. But that does not mean home prices are falling. Right? Actually, we're saying the opposite. We're saying fewer and fewer transactions getting done, fewer and fewer listings, fewer and fewer opportunities for buyers. So we've got stable to increasing demand. And I can tell you, I'm getting people from all over the country calling me and talking about moving to Grand Rapids, right? So, and bringing money from other areas. So, in other states, other cities. So, people moving from the east side of the state over here. I've had, these clients over the last few years from numerous different states across, and people moving from the east side of the state, but also I've had it just in the last couple of months. I've had people call me from many different states talking about moving to Grand Rapids. All right, so we're going to have continued demand based on everything I can see. We're going to have continued demand for housing in Grand Rapids, but there's fewer and fewer opportunities, right? Fewer and fewer homes being listed, and therefore it's going to squeeze, right? We have a stable demand, but there's fewer and fewer homes for people to choose from, and that's going to continue to push prices up in the Grand Rapids area. Okay, so let's start with 2016, work our way up so we can see the trend here as well from a numerical standpoint. And of course, 8,535 closed transactions for the first 10 months of 2016. It dropped off in 2017. And much like we saw with the listings, we can see that as we move our way up the chart, starting in 2016 and working towards 2022, we can see that there has been a trend of fewer and fewer closed transactions in the Kent County area. Okay, so if people say, well, the housing market's slowing down, we really need to understand what that means. Are there fewer sales being done? Yes. Are there fewer opportunities for real estate agents, for real estate brokers, for inspectors, for home loan officers, mortgage officers, right, for the title companies, all of that? Yes, right. It's squeezing the industry, right? There's less and less transactions being done. But of course, the transaction point, right, as far as the dollar amount is going up because the houses are selling for more than what they were, 5, 6, 7 years ago, right? They're selling, as we know, 13% plus versus where they were last year, right? So transaction volume has gone, the number of transactions has gone down, the dollar volume has gone up, but that's a product of home prices increasing. Okay, so hopefully this is making sense. But any of you looking to, buy or sell in the area, obviously give me a call. And if you're coming from outside the Grand Rapids area, another state, please give me a call and I'll help you. But just understand that if you're thinking that home prices are going to fall in the Grand Rapids area, guys, the data suggests otherwise. Next, let's take a look at the average months of inventory in Kent County. Now, in calendar year 2022, for the first 10 months of the year, we're running 0.8 months of inventory. And that is up a little bit, right, versus what we had in 2021. So last year we had 0.6 months of inventory. So 0.8 months of inventory equates to about 24 plus or minus days. What this means is that if no new homes came to market based on our current sell rate, we would be completely sold out of homes in the entire county of Kent County in about 24 days. Right? And last year, that was 18 days. But when we look at this, and by the way, on this one, I have 10 years of data available to me. So I go ahead and add 2015, 2014, and 2013 to this chart, where the previous slides, the latest, the farthest back I can go is 2016. So here I have a full decade of data. What we can see, though, just by scanning this last 10 years of average months of inventory for Kent County, what we can see is that the highest average that we've had over the last decade was in 2014 at 2.3 months of inventory. And guys, that is super low inventory. And even though we're up a little bit this year at 0.8 months of inventory versus where we were in 2021 at 0.6, we're still a third, right? At 0.8 months of inventory, we're still roughly a third of the inventory, right? Average months of inventory. We still have roughly a third of what we had in 2014, and 2014 was low inventory. So why does inventory matter? Well, as we can see here, if you have between 1 and 2 months of inventory, you probably are going to experience double-digit price appreciation on homes. And that is exactly what we have seen for many years here in the Grand Rapids area. If you're running between 3 and 4 months of inventory, you would generally experience single-digit price appreciation. If the inventory built to where you had between 5 and 6 months of inventory, this is more of a normal, balanced, or neutral market where you might experience some price appreciation, but it would more than likely be in the low single digits. And if you're under 5 to 6 months of inventory, this is considered a seller's market, and that's exactly what we have seen for many years here in Grand Rapids. If you're over 6 months of inventory, this is considered a buyer's market. And if your inventory built to between 7 and 8 months, that's when you would most likely experience single-digit price depreciation. And then if the inventory built to 9 months plus, that's when you would likely see double-digit price depreciation. So 7 to 8 months of inventory, single-digit price depreciation, 9 months plus, that's when we start to get into double-digit price depreciation. Are you looking for a realtor you can trust? If so, look no further. When you are ready, let me put my decades of sales and business experience to work for you. Call me directly at 616-258-4782 to discuss your situation or to just talk about real estate. I look forward to helping you succeed. Once again, that phone number is 616-258-4782.